Live. Oh, look at the grandeur. Do you see? Do you see? Do you see? It is so bueno. We've got live and in the flesh and around the water, the news. I am Joe Christensen with Aqueduct Consulting. I have coffee. It's major. Gotta adjust something. It's on the cusp of raining right now. I'm in Door County, Wisconsin. You think that, oh, look, we've got a guestio. You think that you're going to pair channels after the event has started. Oh, let me give you another link. I'm trying to get Dag in here. See if this is any different. Oh, yeah. I have coffee today. Sometimes I am hydrogen powered. Today's a different day. I'm in Door County, Wisconsin, double barreling it. It's the absolute most beautiful world behind me. I don't know what that sign says, but it looks cool. And so I do this news every Friday where I read what's on my LinkedIn wall. And like life is the best ever because we don't have to do anything. We've got no expectations for this show. We could just completely bomb and nobody would watch anyway. That's the bar we're setting today. But it is going to be exciting because, well, there's this place called Door County, and what did it say? It said one highway up, no, two highways up, one door, because it's Door County. I thought that was funny. So so today we have Dag Calafell. He's one of the architect guys over at MCA Connect. He's going to read the news with us. It was way cooler earlier. And Dag is bringing the heat today. He's the secret agent, man. He's been working with AI agents. And AI agents they're robots that do stuff for you. I don't know if you know AI, but that's the official definition. Without further ado, he's been in the market forever. We cannot wait to have him on. Ladies and gentlemen, Dag Calafell. Turn on, switch on. Hi, Dag.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm wild and woolly. I've been camping, so I have my beard is growing.
So that isn't a virtual background. That's the real deal.
Yeah, it's like it's real. So that's real. There's like seagrass right there.
Wow. Are you a big fisher?
I'm okay. My kiddo, he's 17. He's from he went to like a farm school for high school. He is like captain outdoors. So he's gonna fish here, and we've had smoked whitefish and salmon, and I think we're gonna check out a fish boil later on today.
Wow. Living the life.
It's electric here in Door County, Wisconsin. This is Peninsula State Park. I'm actually in the park right now. You can just feel the electricity from the playground right now with all the kids playing is just like it's causing static in the feed.
Yeah. No, it sounds great.
Dag, where are you coming live from? Are you in Texas, the great state of?
Still in Houston at the moment, and my kids have been off now only 2 days, so it's still pretty fresh for us.
Oh, that's right. You reminded me online because I said, "Oh, you're in your first week of vacation," and you're like, a note for that. The kids have just come out of school.
Yeah. But so, I bet you know the Texas schools get funding based on number of days and attendance, so there's a big incentive to have a few extra days.
That's the wrong KPI, Dag. They need the cheerfulness and productivity of the children. That's absolutely the KPI.
Yeah.
So, Dag, tell us a little bit about yourself. We're going to read the news here in a second for all the folks at home who are tuning in who just clamor for the news. You were with MCA Connect, and you and I met on a project a billion years ago around Sugarland. So what is the Dag story?
I got started as a .NET developer and worked at a place that implemented AX 4.0.
Oh, cool.
So that's how I got started in the Dynamics world, and found myself as a director of IT at the end of that place. But then, for whatever reason, decided I was going to prove to myself, even though I have a development background, that I could be a finance functional person. So when you
Oh.
met me, I had my finance functional hat on, pretending like I was an accountant with very little training. And
That's
I,
the
I feel
best.
like I pulled it off, at least for those whatever it was, 10 months, let's say, in Sugarland. And then I came
Yeah.
to MCA Connect about 8 years ago, and I get to have fun with a great team and continue to challenge myself and grow.
Well, what I liked about meeting you out there in Sugarland was that you were super thorough on all the processes, just top to bottom. Even though it sounds like you were just double barrel trying to shoot the finance issues down. Like I saw the same thing that I saw there showed up later when you were talking, like at the like the big whatever the heck that thing was called. What's the BizApps thing? It used to be Convergence, like like in 2013. I don't know what they call it, but you were talking there, and the same deal. Like the presentation was really well thought out, top to bottom. Like great thread in the thought. Like there were many thoughts in your slide deck.
Yeah, I think maybe I have that as a challenge for myself, is that I just have too many thoughts and too little time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean I'm happy to do presentations and collaborate. And so when you reached out, I thought, this would be sort of a fun thing to do, and we get to catch up again and talk
Yeah.
about whatever random things come up, whether it's an AI robot or mosquitoes in the park.
Yeah. Like this place has no room. You still hear me?
It was getting a little spotty, but I'm hoping that you're back now.
Okay. Okay. Good. Well, you have so many thoughts in too little time. Are AI robots going to help you, like take the load off your shoulders?
You know, I for whatever reason I got myself into this position of being the guy who's in charge of like evaluating the AI use cases, and there's kind of lead the team really. And so to a degree,
Oh.
yes, there's going to be some AI to help us. They won't be robots. They may have cool names, like maybe we'll give them names from Star Wars or something, just to keep things lively. But we'll figure things out. I think that the future of AI is an interesting one. I think in the end, or that every individual will have some sort of agent that's also helping them. It's not just a co-pilot, but it's specific to your particular thing that you do, whether that's development, whether that's procurement, whether that's building KPIs and all that fun stuff, right? So but what I like to say, and what would be really interesting, is what if each individual had like their own personal agent as well, right? I mean, just think about, I know you have kids too, so it's like, think about how many emails you get from all the different sports teams
Oh yeah.
and after school programs and even just schools. And I mean, that's a full-time agent right there.
Yeah, there's a materiality thing that used to be applied to what you were going to touch in your life. But now what I really want to do is I want to get cost per laundry load down like a nickel. Like that's material for me now with AI. Like you can say, "Hey AI, uh, I need to get that cost per load down." And it's going to be like on it like a bonnet. And so yeah, not a good joke, but the material is hilarious. Like how to schedule travel and stuff, and the best route for travel. It's all junk that now AI is going to be capable of doing. But that's just I'm on cost per laundry load. You're on the hook for delivering for like an entire juggernaut of a Microsoft partner. So you're again, you're in like right in the middle of the kitchen, the hot
A
kitchen.
little bit. Now, you kind of made me think that you have a Power BI report for your household. You have number of times people have cried and apologies given, and I guess steps taken for each, by each child and member of the.
But I don't need a truth-seeking AI in this. The KPIs I need are the number of times I've been right in an argument with my wife.
Oh no, I don't think you need to publish that one.
I'm gonna put it out public. All right, so we got to get right to the news, Dag. We're gonna dive in, and then we're gonna read for a little bit, and then you're gonna whatever you have to show us, you can show us on your agents, or you can also not show us anything at all.
Sure.
And then there might be a delay here. I like this thing where it shows like a screen of a screen of a screen to infinity.
Inception, right? Isn't that what that was?
We're gonna hit. Yes, it is. We're gonna hit refresh here. We have not engineered this at all. This person that we're seeing, Elif Edom, she wins the weekly algorithm award. She has the most algorithm. Oh boy,
that's a good one.
So she does have rhythm. She's like doing that. She's got item by item. She's had a fantastic time at Doug in Dallas yesterday. I wanted to go to this, but I'm in Wisconsin. Just wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, imagine that's not too far away from where you are normally.
There's Elif. She's an MVP. She does stuff with Dynamics User Group.
And she has an interesting company that helps with Dynamics 365 training.
Yeah, so training, like when I was growing up in the old industry around 2010 to 2012 is before I went on my own. The training was always just tagged on to like, a project, but now Elif has made like a whole practice of it and just great. Need to specialize, man. Well, I'll read it. I don't know how the connection is. If at any point the connection goes wonky, just let me know. And then we'll let you read because it'll come through better.
Sure.
Oh, Kristen Hosman commented, "We are broadcasting from the Great North." Oh, Kristen says, "Are the mosquitoes out yet?" There are mosquitoes, but they're not biting. It's like the opposite of everywhere I've ever lived. Texas, Florida. It's ridiculous. What are they doing? Okay. Do you want to read this one, Dag? Can you be the reader?
Yeah, sure. So Elif just had a fantastic time at the Doug meeting in Dallas and had a delicious lunch, but looks like there were several presenters. Alec and Todd talked about their D365 implementation, what their progress was, the pivots. Pivots is the business way of saying things that they've learned the hard way. And Umer did something from OmniHub as it relates to Microsoft licensing. That would have been interesting. And Michael and Gabor from Amtech Solutions gave practical advice about month-end close. And surprisingly, that one seems to be coming up more and more for me as I have conversations. Just companies are still struggling with month-end close, and that's something that Dynamics 365 can help with. But the last one, they saved probably the crazy or best one for last, if you will. But Shivam gave an in-depth session on finance and operations agents, which could have been very cool and could have taken the rest of the night, apparently.
One crazy night.
Yeah. It's always cool to see the pictures.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this Dallas thing's cool. I really like this format. I go out and meet everybody. I used to think that it was like I don't know, it's very informal. Like you just go out, meet everybody, get answers, walk away. It's a pretty good format. Eliv wins. You win. Like, we gotta like stuff. You have the most algorithm this week. LinkedIn thinks you are number one. #1. It's gonna do #1. It's the best. She says we have a great community here in Dallas. Oh, I think so. Anything that praises me, I'm a big fan of. Mark DiGiorgio says received a nice reminder yesterday. I just signed back up with TechStack, by the way. For those of you who are a small Microsoft partner, Mark DiGiorgio runs a thing called TechStack, and it is just an awesome, like super focused lens of what is it, D365 CE, and it's just how to run your practice as a Microsoft partner. It is really cool. It's very like focused for what I do. Way to go, Mark DiGiorgio. Amongst all our collective excitement around the possibilities of agentic AI, at the end of the day, we are humans serving humans. I agree. Here, our Jen McCormick has been taking care of the needs of one of our great customers, LYP Health Management. Over the years, she's built a great relationship that has opened the door to a sister company who's interested in using our platform. She does not provide consulting for them. The majority of interaction is in triaging support-related topics like functionality questions. And then she says, Mark, I didn't get a chance to say this on our call, but I think it's worth noting that without Jen, this opportunity would not be possible. Kudos to Jen. Dedication to make tech stack work for LYP is a huge reason. Like, congrats, Mark. Well done. What was his thing? I think agentic AI will have a big impact, but it will never replace people. Agreed. One of the drums I'm beating right now, Dag, is that AI is going to allow like a person to have a lot more reach, and the concept of the person with many hats is just going to be massively like stretched and exacerbated. What is your take on this? Mark DiGiorgio thinks that there will always be people who cannot be replaced. What are you seeing in the agent world?
Well, so initially, right, we had a lot of news, I'd say, that was claiming 5 to 10% more efficient, for all people. I think what's interesting about AI is that you see it. It's not like it's only for people in the plant, right? It's not like it's only for people in the office. It's gonna be affecting everybody. I think it was Satya Nadella who said he's hoping to see an uptick by 2 or 3% globally for GDP, which I thought was neat. But for agents themselves, I do think that like okay, I'm going to give you my little spiel, right? The co-pilot is to help you like an individual with a task, whereas an agent is really to help an organization with a process. So that's my hot take, is that it's a process level automation powered by a large language model. And so yes, that's going to make organizations more efficient, but I think that the humans need to be redeployed to things that matter. And so you're starting to see, I think, oh, check. Oh no, what does Grok think?
No, keep on talking. You're doing great.
But what's interesting is I started, you probably get reached out on LinkedIn by a bunch of people, and a few sellers now are starting to include 1 to 2 minute videos, and they immediately start with, "Hi, I'm not an AI, I'm real. This video was made specifically for you, Dag," right? And so the need for person-to-person communication, especially when it relates to sales, because people buy from the people that they jive with and want to work with, that's going to be just double, triple down on that. And for those people who I guess it's probably going to have the most impact in any more administrative
Yeah,
piece that people do, but the strategy I think is never going to be able to be replaced, and the human experience is still a necessity.
that's true. Yeah, it's not even real. It's just like, I don't know. I think I love AI as like as a technology, and I want to play to the maximum extent. I think that what's really the biggest change will be that when somebody goes to scratch on a like absolute zero on a greenfield model to say, all right, uh, start with. I think the magic is when you say start with the person, like throwing a surprise party for the person, the customer, and then throw a surprise party for the employees who would work there, and then the trading partners like the bank and the investors and stuff. And then what would you this is your target in terms of revenue, this is their target in terms of experience. Now reverse engineer the company that does that. I think that is like I don't think anybody's doing it that way. I think they're going to just optimize what they have, or maybe
Mm,
just do a modular sort of thing. But that captures my imagination. That's like a thing worth doing.
yeah. So Joe, let me get your take on something, because I actually, the meeting I had before I joined this was about how does AI accelerate the time to build out essentially a data lake house and reports. And there's an expectation sometimes from C-suite individuals, hey, AI is just going to take care of all of this data pipeline, and it's just going to magically appear one day. I have a couple thoughts on that. Wanted to hear what you have to say, knowing that you're the expert in that area.
Well, I'll make it so brief because this is where my thought goes on it. It's in two camps. One is optimizing what you have, and the other is building a green field. If you build a green field, then you should need very few reports, because why do you need a report for somebody to look at and then make determinations? Like just bake the criteria for decisions into the operating system of your business. And then you have like five, maybe one key report, which just says on the very top level indicators, are we green? And then so that's
Yeah.
one thought, is that don't do away with reporting, like knock out reporting. I mean, what I'm going to launch this summer is how to knock out reporting. Why we shouldn't do reports anymore by the report guy. And then so that's where it's called the Report Factory Journey, and it's really, we're going to back it all the way up to the point where we're saying I'm going to be so provocative and say just do away with all of them. So that's that. The second camp is everybody else who's stuck as, not stuck, but currently a director of operations, director of IT, VP of IT, whatever it is, and you got to do the lake house thing in the BI project. And for
Mhm.
those people, I would do it incrementally. I would do skills stacking. Can I write SQL helping with the AI's help? Help me write code. Can I do data modeling with AI's help? Help me do data modeling.
Mhm.
Can I do ETL pipelines with AI's help? And I would do a marginal percentage increase in efficiency there. Well, here I'm gonna think there's a way I can quit sharing. So then I would do a marginal increase in efficiency in all the skills, and keep it at that. What I would not try to do is have AI design a BI system from, well, I'll take that back. I would have AI try to design a system from scratch as a POC to give me ideas about what I might be missing when I go to build it. So that's where I would do two camps, split screen, greenfield. One is greenfield, and you could do greenfield as a new factory, not as a new company,
Mhm.
a new
Mhm.
production floor, a new warehouse, something like that. And then other screen would be optimizing what you have, which I believe, and I'm just going to be provocative here, I know that the people who are operating right now have to do it, but I think it's a fool's errand. I think within 5 years, the people who go to greenfield are going to be like, they're going to survive, and the people who don't will really be languishing technology.
Right, right. Now, there's a component of that that's interesting too, and that brings me to essentially change management, because when I got started in Dynamics, it had MRP, and yet so many of us were still using Excel because people didn't understand it. But the truth of it was there was a trust factor, but there was also a data quality factor. So automating a bad decision faster isn't smart. right? So there's a component of, yeah, that's what I'm saying is like we got to get past the trust factor, but in order to do so, we need that data quality side of it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, see, you're on the hook for this major delivery, like on the AI side. So I technically I am too, because when we go and approach and bid right now and propose, it's like it's that expectation within the next few months. If it should be, all right, where you guys, I'm not paying for 9 months rent. AI should get you down to 3 or 4 months. So so that's it's coming. It's like, and I'm super excited about it. There's so many things I like about BI. Number one, cheap storage and fast storage. Amazing stuff. Data lake, like amazing. Especially the premium with the solid state stuff behind it. Numero dos, where you get the data model sort of baked into Power BI, and Power BI just sort of manages that refresh for you, like the incremental refresh from the gold layer up to Power BI. And number three, I think that's those two my favorites. Number three, Delta Lake, man. That Delta Lake that Databricks finally figured out and Microsoft sort of baked in on a lot of its stuff, including Fabric. I don't like Fabric's approach to Delta Lake because it's sort of data flow gen 2 based, and that's not my favorite. But I can be convinced of that otherwise. And if they pour a lot of fuel into that and that gets better, then I would include that in the enterprise designs. But right now, Delta Lake is handled by like a Databricks or just like a, by hand, watermark based update. So those three things are amazing. But if you add into BI, like AI's augmenting of every step of the way, like design, holy moly, man. So behind the scenes, what we're hoping to do is develop like a virtual reporting department where we give like a whole 5 roles kind of for manager, director, quality assurance, the BA, the visual person, the ETL person. That might be Kevin. So we just want to break them all out and like see if we can get that to happen and have somebody manage all that. The person with many hats. One person would be managing all the droids. It's so exciting, man. I like, my head is exploding. So exciting.
Yeah, I like where you're going with that, right? Like we're talking, hey, you're empty. Are you going to be okay?
Oh, really good now.
You're really good right now while it's flowing through your veins, but it's only going to last the next 15 minutes.
Like I'm going to be passed out like a hobo on the beach in like 5 minutes or something.
No, but what's interesting is I think you're thinking about it right. I think that, to your point, we could optimize writing the FDD, right? Or should we instead be looking at agents that can help make the report, or an agent that can actually do the QA, like you said? Yeah, for sure. There's definitely some interesting interactions there. And I've also seen this pattern where you have an agent do the work and then another agent go verify that the first one actually did it right. So that's sort of
so that's
QA.
not a material. It's not a material problem anymore. Just like my cost per load or whatever it is. I lost my for a second, but it might jump back on here. I just want to say that next week we'll have Starlink. I'm picking it up this week, so we're going to do our broadcast with the Airstream behind us, and we're going to broadcast with the Airstream inside the Airstream.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. And plus, like, it's an adventure. So now, you got to tune in just to see, where is Joe this week?
How amped
maybe you
is
should
Joe
keep
this
it
week?
a question mark, right? And then start to have a poll like, hey, where will Joe be?
We have to read a little bit of news here so we can just pack in as much news as possible. This one I like because this is my kid's school he just graduated from as a senior in high school. This is from Jeremiah Richards, the operations manager. This is the newest addition to the St. Martin's Academy landscape, our Eggmobile, a mobile chicken coop that allows nearly 200 laying eggs to free range while being moved every day to fresh pasture. So I just want to summarize this. These guys are working. They're in Fort Scott, Kansas. They're working with Joel Salatin. He's the lunatic farmer guy, and they're basically building like a sustainable, like feed 65 boys in a prep school model where they're literally living off the land for the most part. Isn't that cool?
That's interesting. Now you just have to, pitch your teepee next to your mobile in-house.
Yeah, but we would be a mobile people house.
Yeah, that's cool. Does that connect to the Airstream too?
You could get the eggs to go, like, be right through a door, like, just never mind. Okay, you've got to read Steve Mordew, because this guy is one of the most prolific posters on AI. He's super opinionated. He's the boss of agent bosses. I love that. And he's doing what with like a digital, like a virtual labor kind of thing, like I was talking about, like a virtual reporting department. And this guy's always worth listening to. Dag, take it away.
Awesome. Steve Mordew's telling us about how AI camps are forming. The world is not in lockstep when it comes to AI in the workplace, and it's far from it. The way he sees it is that there are four main camps forming. One end, you have the flat out, this is never gonna happen. Agents are not going to happen. It's kind of the deniers camp. But on the other hand, you have the hold my beer with it going in hot camp. And in between, you've got poking it with the stick, or we've got 10 years, there's no rush. I'll dip my toes into it when I can. So the deniers are mostly just terrified. Probably it's a change management issue, like we were bringing up earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess they're going to be in for a rude awakening. I think if you were to ask Joe and I, and certainly Steve on his post, the we got 10 years folks are just unaware of what is actually happening around the ground today. So they may still be caught flat-footed because AI is not something that they're looking to invest in the short term. Hopefully they're monitoring what's going on so they can jump in pretty soon. Otherwise, there may be some issues happening for them. And then let's see, there's the hold my beer crowd that is convinced that AI will change everything. And fear of missing out drives these people to be as early as possible on everything. So, and I've also heard that in the VC realm, right, the golden egg is getting $1 million of annual recurring revenue with one human, but a team of agents.
That's it. So. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. And you're going to have some whales in this model. There is a concept of $1 billion company. My problem with this, like $1 billion one-person company, okay. My issue with this is that, like, annual recurring revenue is about reliability. That's why it has, it's like an annuity, right? It has like some stability, and once you connect with the audience, like, you get revenue out of it. That's why it's worth something. So my tagline lately is, the worst thing that AI can do is work, because if it works, everybody breathes a sigh of relief and relaxes and calms down. Well, there's a strong likelihood that the LLM just decides to think differently about it next time and not work. And so, and also there's such ferocious competition right now for vying and jostling for position. Like, it's highly possible you get something that does work, but then it doesn't, because you get jostled out. So that's the market. That's fair competition. It's not different than now, but it's the velocity of it is going to be so high. And a lot of people are going to go all in and shove all chips on like $1 billion promise, and then get like nothing. They'll just get out jostled by, whatever.
But yeah, what you're describing is the new bug, because hallucinations are the new bug, right?
Yeah,
And it's interesting to think about how, I mean, we're talking about hardware, right? So there wasn't a time too long ago that you and I can remember where we had to manage memory manually, right? Whether it was assembly or C++. And now we just assume that garbage collection is happening. There's no memory leaks, right? Where we're coding at a sort of a more of a business level and business terms, not writing SQL directly a lot of times. And so I think that there's going to be yet another level where agents are going to now obfuscate that yet again. And yet today we still have people who know assembly, right? There's still people who write drivers and firmwares, but they're just few and far between. We still need that skill set, but the majority of us have moved on to like the next higher level sort of playing field.
Oh, so cool. It's so cool. Just as somebody had an observation, it was on X. They said that I've seen this several times since this one guy said it, that LLMs are the operating system and MCP servers are the apps. It's just a new landscape, the new conceptual landscape re-implemented. So it's so cool, man. Like it's again, I just can't. I'm having so much fun right now. I had to get out on the road because I can't do this model where I am. We got to go out and talk to people, and people are the never, not in my backyard people, and then there's the hold my beer people. I got to talk to all of them. I've got to see how it's really hitting, like out on the streets. This is a man on the street reporting.
Love it. I love it.
I'm gonna ask those kids over there like what they think of AI. Well, we got to stop. We just have to stop. At some point, Dag, we just have to stop what we're doing, stop sharing. Did you want to share anything before we jump? Are you secret agent, man? Do you have to show us anything? You don't have to.
I mean, I mentioned I wasn't going to prepare stuff, but I do have a few posts that I could just bring up if you're interested. And I don't know how much time we have either, but you did bring up MCP. That one is a very, very interesting one for me, because we also got a chance to get that a little bit early access, and we built out an agent, as you mentioned. And I'm figuring out how to share my screen, so we got it.
There's this cool thing at some point. I gotta enable it. So there's this guy. There's a satellite system, and they used to have to coordinate satellites from all over the globe in order to converge them and then get like a concentrated beam. Well, somebody came up with this idea just to put a cone on the top of, like a very small cone on the top of one satellite, and they got the same effect. It feels to me like MCP is like the cone. It's like it allows you to hyper focus, harnessing all this power in a direction, because in language, MCP server is like, no, only pay attention to this in this sequence, in this structure. So it's I am so excited about MCP right now. So go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, so I mean, I guess I have a technical background, so I think of MCP as us coming out with APIs, but they're for large language models, right? We used to do XML, now we're doing RESTful APIs, and the API or the metadata that describes how to use APIs for large language models is this MCP server, Model Context Protocol. So if you think about going to a restaurant and there's all these options on a menu, that's what I feel like MCP is. It's the menu for the large language model to choose what does it want to do. Is it gather data? Is it take an action? And so Microsoft has doubled down on that and has built out MCP servers for a lot of things, Dataverse, Dynamics 365. And, I think we're still a little bit early as it relates to what's on the menu, so to speak, right? The menu is growing. But what's cool about it is it's turned into, as a developer, it's like, okay, here's your menu. And then you tell the agent, I want you to look at this, then do this, and then do this. And there was no need to go to the level of needing to like code anything or do topics in Copilot Studio. So I have an example of that. Does this share the audio or it does not?
I think it does, because your audio is turned on for that share. Go ahead and try it, and I'll tell you if it's coming through.
Okay, cool. So, Microsoft has some, and they did some examples here. But MCA Connect, where I work, I was involved. It was just me and the developer at the time.
My name is Adam Ferrari, the Chief Executive Officer of Phoenix.
That's working.
Okay, so here we go. All right, so let me share this smart
location can be tough. MCA Connect's smart sourcing agent streamlines procurement by automating requisition processing, supplier assignment, and workflow submission, ensuring efficiency and accuracy. It leverages data outside the ERP to optimize supplier selection and provides timely responses to vendor inquiries, enhancing overall procurement operations. Here is a requisition that came in from my maintenance technician, Anthony Endres, who needs some supplies. At this point, MCA Connect's smart sourcing agent picks up. It understands approved suppliers, pricing, and supplier performance, using data from Dynamics 365 as well as third-party data from MCA Connect Inspire platform, which is an enterprise data lakehouse. The agent understands that the best supplier is low cost while having good quality, low risk, and the ability to deliver on time. The agent is made with Microsoft Copilot Studio.
So this is the cool part. I'm going to interrupt myself. Is that we just gave it instructions and then we gave it access to the MCP server, and then the large language model calls the actions in the right order with the right, I guess, logic, as if it were like an intern that had explicit instructions and had access to the systems that it needed.
Oh, bless America.
With
I love it.
capabilities such as generative orchestration and a
So
model
that box
context
isn't-
protocol or MCP server for Dynamics 365. The agent has several actions that it can call at the time it determines. The MCP server for Inspire platform has several actions that we can take advantage of, whether getting data from the data lakehouse or using an agent to manage the environment and asking for an ad hoc refresh. The agent understands that there are two potential suppliers for this product, along with their pricing and historical performance. It recommended supplier 1001 and updates the requisition, then submits it to workflow. This task normally takes a long time for a procurement agent and is now automated and just reviewed by the agent using it to workflow.
Yeah, so I mean that's the long and short of it, right? And I think Joe, it goes to what you were saying before, right? Of where are we headed with this, and it's really, it is a data problem in a way,
Yeah.
and then building agents on top of that data.
Yeah. And this is my laundry example. At a certain point, like you just on materiality, you just can't go out and assess like whatever per load, like cost per laundry load. In the vendor case, it may not be material for the company to do this with all POs, right? Like with steel that has steel blocks with an 18-month lead time, they will do it. They're going to stop everything and do it because of the materiality point. But not with all the expendables and stuff like that, and all the consumables for materials. So what you just showed was like getting the cost of the laundry load down to down a nickel. But for large companies, doing this across a platform, like it's so exciting. Like what you just showed, it's data behind the scenes with your guys' data product, the data lake that's basically already built, and then you're having F&O. Let me just get this right. F&O queries back to the data lake. So technically F&O runs like on servers, and it's going to query back to a data lake, which is in the same tenant, but it's off of the server that it runs on, right?
Yeah, the real orchestrator, if like going back to the agent idea, it's all Copilot Studio. So Copilot Studio is using MCP to ask F&O, are there any approved requisitions out there that I should determine where I should source it from? And then it looks at all of the data in the data lake, including quality. There's some interesting vendors out there that will do things like supplier risk and even spyware risk of your suppliers. So a lot of other external third-party data sources that you could incorporate into this approach. And then once it looks at all of that data, then it determines, okay, I should choose this vendor for this reason and submit it to workflow using MCP.
See, I like what's so cool about this is that, and I'm just going to go back to my greenfield comment. Sorry, my beard is attacking me. If you're doing an ERP implementation, people hire MCA Connect to go figure it out. And then the mentality, it would be a wrong mentality to have the customers say, oh, we're going to go and do everything, and then we're, as icing on the cake, we'll do this procurement thing that Dag was showing that's based on data. It's the other way around. Like, you start with the system that is going to be automated, right? And then you reverse engineer back into the implementation. And that's if you have this much power, what you just showed should not be an augmentation parlor trick. It literally should be the OS. It should be the business application that runs the whole company. It should start with what's possible there and then reverse engineer the implementation. So I'm so excited by this, because that's hard. It's the project management that's currently in place doesn't have the track record doing that. Only a few times, and you've seen it, Dad, because I've seen the case studies. Like, you have a really great case study where somebody went to the length, they got it at the C-suite level. Yeah, you got to go to the ideal design and then reverse engineer the implementation into it. That's hard, because you can fail at that. You can when you finally get it implemented, the ground will come back and tell you, hey, that's not even possible. Like, we got steel blocks we have to move, and that's the sequence is off from what you guys dreamed up in some room. So we have to get the dreamers and the steel block forklifts and stuff to like come together and like bridge the distance between them in order to get that done. That's really neat, Dag. You're working with the coolest technology in the industry. If there's a whole audience, I bet there are like 3 people watching right now. They're all going to stand up and clap for you. This is an awesome presentation, sir.
Yeah, appreciate it. I like your analogy, because a lot of times, so I think there's kind of 2 challenges. One is Microsoft partners need to be challenged to implement AI as part of the future state. And those future process diagrams need to include these AI agents. And any gap should first be looked at, can we make an agent to solve the gap, as opposed to looking at, doing something either in X++ or even Power Apps, right? But then secondly, there's also sort of this trap, because the people who have already gotten on a new ERP relatively recent, they're going to be looking to optimize the processes they have, as opposed to reimagine them, like you were talking about, in a greenfield sort of way.
Yeah, it's very close. What we're talking about is so close to being trite and well-worn. Like, you need to bring people together, reach across that aisle and work together as a unit. And it's just like it can be so close to trite. Like, you got to reimagine. We're talking digital transformation here, like transform, not just transition. So like, but it really is like the technology there is present. It's there now, where you could do a greenfield and a a new idea, and you got to go to whiteboards for this, like a serious creative session. This is not going to happen in your normal boardroom. I did a UX. I was going to do a web app back in 2016, and it did not go forward. But somebody allowed me to do a user experience jam session. It was a huge creative session, all glass and whiteboards. You can write on the glass and the whiteboards, the Post-its, the Sharpie things, and whatever. These things are going to be dreamed up in this background while you're kayaking off in some indoor county, Wisconsin, in California, in Texas, in the hill country, in the Guadalupe. So like, this thought process will not happen in a normal fashion. So we got to stir it up, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have to end it, because you probably have to go. I've got meetings coming up. This has been a great thing. Next week we're gonna hang out with Murray Fife. You're gonna have to comment bomb us from. We're gonna try to do 2 Airstreams, and streaming. It's gonna be Air-stream, because we're gonna have Starlink by then.
Emphasis on air.
Yeah, we're gonna either do a state park, northwest Georgia, or somewhere close to Ellijay, Georgia. From Murray's fiefdom. That was a pretty good one.
That's really cool. Looking forward to hearing more about his. Murray has this interesting demo data that he's building out.
Oh.
So it's cool to see sort of the progress on that. And by now, I think he knows a lot of those areas of dynamics much better than I do. So be interesting to hear more about what he's up to.
Yeah, but it's all in it's in the currency and the language and the of this some weird place called Faerun.
Yeah.
This Dungeons and Dynamics. Dag Calafell, everybody. Hey, Dag, if we run into each other again, we can hang out and do some beer or do some coffee. And until then, you should just go be prolific and design agents as a secret, not so secret agent, man.
All right. Yeah, sounds great. Thanks for having me, and enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks, Dag.
Take care.